Did you know right now may be the best time to be playing Lord of the Rings Online? I'm going to try to convince you to play by sharing some of my favorite reasons to log in and go on an adventure. So prepare to toss your dwarf, kick off those shoes like the hobbit you are, and prepare to simply walk into Mordor. Figuratively speaking, that is. So honestly, the main reason that I ever even picked up Lord of the Rings Online was because I didn't have to pay for it. This remains to be one of the best reasons to try Lord of the Rings Online, is because it's free. Like, most of the game can be played and enjoyed without spending a dime. 3 years after the game's initial release, it went free to play, and it hasn't changed since. This includes the base game, which is up to level 50, all the way up to the level 95 expansion of Helm's Deep. After that, it does require you to either purchase the expansion or to be a member of the VIP club for the LOTRO store. This is your typical monthly subscription base here, typically running for a little less than $15 a month to be a part of. You can pay for larger chunks of time and actually end up paying less. 3 months can cost you a little under $30. Now, the VIP club does get you a lot of perks and a lot of quality of life items, not to mention access to the legendary service, which I will talk about later. But even still, if you get to that point that you wish to continue the story and you're on the free-to-play model, there are 2 separate ways that you can get the expansion. First, you can just go and outright purchase it, which is $20 US. However, this isn't the end all be all. You can farm deeds in Lord of the Rings Online for the currency on their shop, which is called the LOTRO points. The LOTRO points are awarded for completing various deeds around Middle-earth, mainly just killing so many of a certain mob or a certain type of mob. The LOTRO points can then be exchanged on the store to purchase cosmetics, convenience items, or even purchasing an expansion. So quite literally, you can just simply play the game and work your way to buying the expansions for free. As a note, earning LOTRO points via deeds can be very time-consuming and grindy, but of course, it is not impossible. You don't technically have to spend a dime. Now, as mentioned, you can work your way all the way up to the Helm's Deep expansion, which is level 95, before you even have to worry about purchasing an expansion after that. Now, I haven't done this, but I did read on the forums that the best way to handle getting the most content for free is by getting to the level 95 cap and then maxing out the deeds that you can to generate more LOTRO points. Now, these are tied to a single character, so you get as many as you can on that single character, and then you create an alt and then do the same thing, getting as many deeds as possible so that you can get as many LOTRO points as possible. From there, you can wait for an expansion or a quest pack to go on sale and then just purchase them outright without paying a dime. Now, another way that you can do this, if you can spare the $15 for a single month of VIP access, you can access all the content as you were basically renting it. You will play through it, and after that month elapses, you'll be able to maintain whatever progress that you have made. And you even get to keep some of the perks of the VIP account, like swift travel, more character slots, and even more inventory slots. Regardless of how you look at the game for being free to play, there are so many hours and hours of fun gameplay, adventuring, and more that it's really so worth your time. I mean, for the low cost of nothing. Now, you would think with a game that specifically follows the Lord of the Rings series of books that it would eventually run out of content, right? Actually, you'd be very wrong here. So yes, the main story does follow along with the Lord of the Rings story with the tale that we know and love. However, that is not where the game ends. See, Tolkien had much more than just the base Lord of the Rings series. There was The Hobbit before it, The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, who, if you didn't know, is like one of the most powerful beings in this universe, and he still chooses to be a hobbit, as well as Tolkien's Silmarillion and The Unfinished Tales. This means that Lord of the Rings Online has much more to offer and in plenty of materials to create expansions in an ever-expanding game and universe. Take, for example, their newest expansion that's releasing soon called The Legacy of Morgoth, where we explore the wilds of Near Harad in an open, scorching desert where we have to discover an evil worse than Sauron. It's Morgoth. I mean, if you couldn't put that together, who apparently is essentially the biggest bad in this universe. Like, he's like Sauron's master level evil. Regardless, there is so much new content being updated with this game, along with graphic improvements along the way as the game continues to grow. And for those pointy ear lovers, you might actually like to know that they've recently updated the elf character model, so there you go. Point is that even after the ring is dealt with, there are so many more tales about Middle-earth that have yet to be explored. Okay, so you've heard all this, and now you want to learn a little bit more about the gameplay. Well, without a doubt, my favorite feature in this game is a feature called Scaling Open World Difficulty, or Landscape Difficulty. This is an adjustable setting that quite literally can make everything so much more challenging, even at lower levels. See, the different levels increase the overall difficulty of each creature, making them hit harder and making yourself weaker. Along with random death blasts from Sauron himself, there is so much here that can make even the most mundane interactions in combat so much more intense. Now, this does not apply to the story instances, and honestly, I kind of wish that it could. That'd be pretty cool. But the idea of being able to go in and actually adjust the difficulty in open world actually makes it so much more engaging. It makes it one of its best features. And then on top of that, when you reach certain levels after being on this difficulty for so long, you will be granted unique titles and access to a specific currency called Token of Heroism. These can be found as you are going through your adventures on your difficulty, which can then be used to get heroes marks, and those are used to purchase some consumable items and unlock rare emotes only available through this leveling process. So it's kind of like a big flex on everyone. One of my biggest concerns of more modern MMOs is that we always really come in super overpowered, like everything melts in front of us. But here in Lord of the Rings Online, we can literally make any lower level experience so much more worthwhile. The feature is even available on the free-to-play account, so if you want to challenge yourself while also learning a new game and buffing all the enemies, I mean, this is going to be the thing for you. It's really a good time. So if you've watched any of the Lord of the Rings movies or read any of the books and have enjoyed them in the slightest, you absolutely will love this game. Lord of the Rings Online and Standing Stone Games keeps everything just about by the books as they can, or well, as close as they can, I should say. The maps, the characters, the people, all of this is so true to Tolkien's vision that I actually went and tried this game for the very first time shortly after rewatching Return of the King. This scene in particular. Now, this may not be the best reason for people to come and play the game, as some people don't necessarily care for the lore or the story, but if you have any inclination of loving Tolkien's universe, it certainly does not disappoint. Yes, the graphics may be a little bit older, and if we are looking at it objectively, they're not as pretty as, say, some of the newer games that have been released. However, that does not take away from the fantasy of this world. Lord of the Rings was one of those original fantasy OG stories. That was just without a doubt one of the most popular stories even when I was growing up before the movies. So when you are able to be in this game and actually explore these areas, it really makes a big deal. Oh, okay, you can go check out Hobbiton, you can go to Bree, you can go to all these places that you had already imagined what they look like and literally roleplay your character through. It's such an engaging experience, and again, I stress, it does not disappoint. Now, one of the features that actually really made me interested in the game late this year has been their introduction of the legendary servers. Basically, they took all the best features and the knowledge that they have gained over the past 20 years of their game's lifetime and repolished it into an initial launch. See, the legendary servers function very similar to classic WoW servers, basically resetting the story and the game back down to its very base game, and then re-releasing the expansions periodically over time. This way, a brand new wave of players will be able to play the game, experience it from the start, and go along that journey together. Just because it's a classic server, however, does not mean that it is basic or way back exactly one-to-one carbon copy of what it was in 2007. It does have quite a few things that are new. So the scaling difficulty, of course, the landscape difficulty is there. 64-bit processing, reduced and removed server lag, as well as a number of quality of life features have all been introduced into the legendary servers. Not to mention that any of the DLC classes or races that you have already purchased are implemented into that game. Literally takes all the best thing from the game's development over the past 20 years and implemented into a brand new server and starting the game fresh. Adding to it, they also have included the Veil of the Nine Wraith feature, where as you are out in the open world killing random creatures and questing, you can randomly spawn a ring wraith that is out to throw hands, and it takes nearly the whole server to take one of these bad boys down. They're so difficult. In my experience, this has been kind of super stressful, mainly because of the landscape difficulty I was on, but even still, it adds layers of engagement that I have not seen in quite a long time. Personally, I never heard of LOTRO when it was released, and now that I'm having the opportunity of try out the game in 2024, almost like it's brand new, it's absolutely amazing and it's worth the time. However, I will make note that the legendary servers do require you to be on the VIP. So the $15 a month sub, you can get it down cheaper if you buy larger chunks of time. And of course, I saved the best for last. In my mind, Lord of the Rings Online is the perfect embodiment of a classic MMORPG. I actually had a video recently where I highlighted how damn good this game is for capturing, in my mind, the best features of the late 2000 MMOs. Nothing flashy, nothing crazy. Simple and relaxing questing in a massive connected world. Nothing wild, but still some of the best adventuring in the gaming sphere, hands down. Now, the MMORPG genre has evolved and has gotten a lot flashier and faster over the years, to be sure, as graphics have updated and creating brand new experiences. Lord of the Rings Online itself is absolutely doing an amazing job of keeping the idea of simplicity. One of my favorite things about Lord of the Rings Online is simply logging in, doing some quests, expanding my character level, and moving on out. No rush, no pressure, just simple, easy-going gaming that I feel like is lost in the modern era. Now, to be fair, LOTRO isn't alone in this regard, as there are plenty of other older MMOs that can do this for other people. However, I feel that Lord of the Rings Online is one of the best in this category, at least in my most recent memory. It truly is a super comfy MMORPG, just to log in and, forget the world for a little bit. Now, there are of course tons of other reasons to play the game, and many players still do every single day. I personally enjoy Lord of the Rings for the reasons that I have listed above, but if you have played Lord of the Rings Online, what is your favorite part? Tell me in the comment section down below. If you want to see my most recent analysis of Lord of the Rings Online, you can click this video here. Otherwise, stay caffeinated, folks.